Welcome to the Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. I'm Matt Mercer, instructor for the Pathfinder School and the founder of the Black Hat Bushcraft channel right here on YouTube. And this afternoon, I've come out here to a local waterway. We have some paths that go around this little stream that goes through here. My daughter and I decided we'd come and just kind of explore these trails a little bit. And while we were out, set up an improvised kitchen right here on the old tailgate so that we can enjoy cooking up a delicious lunch right here in this beautiful area of the great outdoors. And of course, if I'm cooking up a delicious lunch in the outdoors, it's going to be a subscriber submitted recipe, which means one of you guys out there will be winning some free Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear. Today's recipe is totally different, something that I haven't cooked before here on the show or anything really quite like this before. So I'm excited about a new recipe, trying something different. And I've got a special offer that I'm going to be talking about here later in the show, and I think some of you guys might really appreciate this one. So all of that coming up here on the Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. I hope you guys are excited about today's show. I know I am, and I'm looking forward to it. So stick with me and let's get started on Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. All right, so it's now that special time in the show where we talk about today's recipe and, of course, that lucky person who's going to be receiving a free care package from Reliance Outfitters with all of the cooking gear that I use on today's show. And so without further ado, congratulations, Daniel Sharman, for your submission of Peasants Pasta. And I'm really excited about this recipe. It uses several ingredients that I've not used on our show before, one of them being chorizo, which is Mexican sausage, and also orzo pasta, which I've not used. I've only eaten that a couple of times in my life, honestly. So I'm excited today about cooking up something a little bit different, and I know it's going to be a good meal. So once again, congratulations, Daniel, and I hope you enjoy your awesome Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear that'll be coming to you from Reliance Outfitters. And for the rest of us, let's enjoy cooking up a delicious lunch right out here on my tailgate. Let's get started. By the way, do you have a favorite recipe that you like to prepare when you're spending time in camp or just recreating out here in the great outdoors? If so, go ahead and submit a copy of that recipe to the email address at the bottom of your screen, and that'll get your name and your recipe entered into our data bank of recipes that I pull from each time I come out to film a new episode of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. Remember, this is a win-win. It's a chance for me to try your favorite recipe out here in the beautiful great outdoors, and it's a chance for you to win free Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear coming to you from Reliance Outfitters. So don't wait, go ahead and submit that recipe over, and hopefully your recipe will be on the next episode of our show. All right, to get started, we're gonna get our kit out here, and what I have with me is, first of all, a little Pathfinder stainless steel bowl. And I also have in this bag a Pathfinder PFM40, which for those of you that are familiar with it, that's the Pathfinder version of the Swedish M40 military cook set. There we go. All right, set our bag aside. I've got my utensils in there as well. Set our stove off to the side for now. We'll use that later. And of course here we have two parts to the system. I have the little skillet, which is the lid. I have the pot here, which we'll be using to cook in today. And I have my Pathfinder alcohol stove. And that thing always comes in handy. Something I use a lot in the field for cooking. And I've got a little piece of pine straw in my pot. So we've got some vegetables that we need to cut up here. And to start with, I have a big old potato. And I washed this down at home, so I'm just going to dice it up. So the last episode specified to peel the potato, and I try as much as I can to cook things according to the recipe that people send me. So if somebody says peel the potato, I want to do it. And if they don't specify, then sometimes I won't, like this. All right, so now that I've got this potato dice, what I'm going to do is put it back in this plastic bag that I brought my ingredients in. We'll just set that aside. And we have some celery that we need to dice up. So I'm going to go ahead and bring a piece of that out. We're just going to cut that up real small. And the recipe calls for 1 stick of celery. But I actually love celery, so I might add just a little bit extra to it. Keep those pieces from getting too big. Let's add a little bit more of that. I think it's going to put some good flavor in our dish. And a lot of times when you eat celery, you're eating it raw, and I love that raw crunch of the celery, but it actually has a great texture when you cook it down in soups and stews and things like that. So again, I'm not sure why I don't use it more than I do. And the best part about it today is that celery makes a good sample. Isn't that pretty? So what I'm going to do is take that and go ahead and put it into the pot, because this will be one of our first ingredients that we start cooking with. Alright, so our next ingredient is half of a red onion. And man, this is just a beautiful red onion. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut that in half. And this will be one of our first ingredients that we cook. Alright, and we're just going to cut this guy up semi-fine. And cross cut just like that. Make that onion cook up faster. Honestly, I think that's going to be plenty of onion in this dish right here. Just basing off the measurements I see. So I'm going to save some of that. Set it aside for now. Alright, and this is also one of our first ingredients that's going to get cooked. It's this red onion. Sure is pretty. Some pretty stuff. And we're going to put that in our pot as well, since it gets cooked early. And I'm going to pass on the sample for this one because, you know, raw onion's never been one of my favorites. Alright, so our next ingredient is just going to be 1 clove of garlic smashed. And so I'm just going to dice it up instead of smashing it. And just chop it a little bit. Chopping a clove of garlic is always kind of delicate work. Alright, so that'll take care of our garlic clove being crushed. And just diced it up real fine there. Alright, so our main ingredient here is our chorizo sausage. And we're going to get that cut up and into our pot. And we're going to cook down those first 3 ingredients with a little bit of oil in the pot. And once we kind of cook those things down, then we'll add in the rest of the stuff. I'm just going to cut this stuff down a little bit. When you look at chorizo sausage, there's quite a few different ones. So hopefully I got the right thing. Just cutting this stuff up into some bite-sized pieces. And I got a feeling as it cooks, it'll kind of come apart a little bit more probably. Alright, you can see the magic in the making right there. It's time to fire up the stove and get cooking. Alright, and just like that, we've got our stove lit. I'm going to put this simmer ring on the stove. That, just to keep it from burning the alcohol up so fast. Alright, I've got my stove lit. I'm going to take my stove stand here and just place over top of the stove. I've got these 2 little swing arms pulled up in place here. So now I can take my pot and just lower it right down in place, and it will sit on those 2 little arms. And at that point, we are officially cooking. Can already hear the sizzle. And what we'll do is take the lid and just gently place that there to help hold in some heat. while all that heats up together. And it's on. Won't be long, we'll be eating a delicious meal. Alright, so now that everything's starting to heat up, I'm going to add just a little bit of cooking oil down in there to kind of stew up these onions. Just about a tablespoonful. Kind of mix that in good here. Alright, so I'm going to let it heat up a little bit more. I'm going to put the lid back on and we'll give it a few more minutes. Alright everyone, I want to take just a minute to share with you a special offer that will be made available by Self-Reliance Outfitters in honor of today's show. This is the exact kit of gear that I have used to prepare today's recipe. And what we have at the heart of this kit is the Pathfinder PFM40 Cook Set. This is a stainless steel replica of the Swedish M40 military cook set that's been so popular for so many years. It basically is a three-part cook system. You have a pot with a bell. You can see that nice heavy bell. You even have a hook here that you can use to set this thing up in a lot of configurations to cook with over a fire. For the top of that pot, you have what creates a pan or a little skillet here, or a bowl with a handle that you can eat out of, which is what you saw me do today, or what you will see me do today. You have here a folding handle. It does have rings on it that you can mate up with a stick off the landscape to give you an extended handle if you're cooking over a fire. We have the stainless steel stove stand here that makes an awesome way to cook with this system, especially when you pair it with the Pathfinder alcohol stove. This will also be in the kit. You'll also receive one stainless steel bowl, a set of stainless steel utensils, and all of that gear will comfortably nest in the Pathfinder heavy-duty Molly bag here. This is a shoulder bag. It has a lot of different pouches in it. It will hold a canteen set. It'll hold this set, and you could use it for any purpose. A haversack. It will really do a lot for you. It's a nice bag. So all of this kit nests comfortably into that bag. And if you were to go to Self-Reliance Outfitters and purchase this at retail, it would bring you to $133.95. But in honor of this episode of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen, and because this is the gear that I use for the show, SRO has agreed to make this kit available for $99.95. And guys, that is approximately 25% off of retail on all of this gear. So I hope if you're interested in this, this will be a time that you can take advantage of these savings and keep some money in your pocket and get the gear in your arsenal that you want to have. This is a great set. I really enjoy using it. And again, this is a great opportunity to get it at a discounted price. And SRO again is doing this to show appreciation for those of you who watch the show, submit the recipes, and help make this show a success. So we appreciate you guys. If you guys are interested, there's a link down below in the description box. So go and check out the Pathfinder PFM40 Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen Special. Back to the show. Alright, so this food's been cooking somewhere around 7 to 10 minutes, somewhere in that range. I've not kept really close attention with the clock, but you can see everything's cooking down. That sausage is really starting to render some grease, and our vegetables are starting to soften up. Onions a little bit translucent, so I think that it's safe for us to go ahead and add in the next ingredients, which are our potatoes and our garlic. And as you know, I have those here in our plastic bag, so I'm going to just carefully introduce those into the pot. All right, and we're just going to mix those in as well and let them start to steam a bit. All right, so I've let the pot go for about another 5 minutes now, and it's time to introduce our next ingredient, which is vegetable stock or vegetable broth. And the recipe calls for 200 milliliters, which if we convert that to ounces, it's right about 7 ounces. And I've kind of eyeballed 7 ounces of this vegetable stock here. And you guys know I eyeball a lot of stuff when I'm cooking. So we can always add a little bit more down the road if we need to. But for now, I'm just going to kind of mix that in. I'm going to let that come to a boil and kind of soften these potatoes up just a little bit more. Just make sure they're mixed in good to that liquid. And man, that stuff really smells good. With that chorizo, it's really got a spicy smell, and I love that. So we're going to let that stock come to a boil, and then we'll look at adding in our beans and our orzo. We're going to be getting somewhere then. All right, so our dish has been cooking for a good little while now, and you can see this stuff is really starting to cook down, and it's starting to look like something that we definitely are ready to eat. However, we still got to add our orzo pasta in. And our recipe calls for 200 grams of orzo pasta, which is approximately 7 ounces. And I have a box of orzo pasta here, and it is 16 ounces. So 7 ounces. It's pretty easy to eyeball that. And I'm not going to be exact, but again, I don't worry too much about being perfectly exact with this. I think that'll be good. Maybe just a touch more, because it's always good to have a little more. All right, and we also need to add in 200 grams of beans, mixed beans. Now I can look at this and tell that I'm going to have to add some more fluid to it. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I can tell about how much that pasta is going to take up when it swells. All right, Rob, hand me that can of beans. Got my sous chef here, my assistant today. We also need to add 200 grams of beans, which again is about 7 ounces. This is a 15-ounce can. And the only mixed beans I could find were chili beans, but I think chili beans and chorizo go together well. All right, so I'm going to eyeball that as well. If it's 15 ounces, half the can would be about 7.5 ounces, so just a little less than half the can will be perfect. And I'm going to just try to mix all that stuff in. What I've done is I have the handle of my knife, and I've just looped into that hook here, so it kind of gives me a hand to control this pot from slipping. I'm going to mix all that stuff together. Boy, that's really looking like something now. That look good to you, Rye? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. This is one of those dishes that you're going to say, Daddy, can I have some more, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is let that sit. We're going to put the top back on it. And when I put the top on this, you could of course do it this way. Ooh, that's hot, the way it's meant to be, but I like doing it this way, and it just gives me a place to set my utensil like that. If your utensil's getting too hot, of course you can't do that, but anyway, we're going to let that cook a little while, and we're going to be back to take a look in just a few minutes. Alright, so it's been about 10, maybe 12 minutes since we put our pasta in. Let's take a look at what we got. Man, we got a nice slow boil going there, simmering. And I think this stuff is done. I think it's ready to go. I did one time add in just a little bit more vegetable stock because that pasta kind of soaked up a lot of our juice. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and lift this off. We're going to let this stuff rest for just a little bit. We'll snuff out our stove. And it's going to be time to eat. Alright, you guys know what it's time for. That official meal reveal. Oh man, look at all that chorizo cooked down with those russet potatoes, and that orzo pasta, fresh celery, red onions, and that fresh garlic, all cooked to perfection with those chili beans. This is going to be a spicy, hearty, satisfying meal. And I've got 2 servings fixed. One for my favorite person right out here in the woods with me. It's going to be a great meal right here on the tailgate, and I can't wait to eat it. Oh man, it's going to be so good. Alright, so I've gone ahead and got my daughter set up with her bowl, and she's already taste testing. I have not taste tested it all yet because, of course, anytime I'm going to eat a delicious meal out here in the beautiful great outdoors, I'm going to take just a minute to say thanks. Alright, it's now time for the official taste test. The pot is still hot, so I'm using my cutting board to hold it with. Let's start right away with a good mixture. I've got some beans, some orzo, a little potato, some chorizo, all mixed. It's hot. It does not taste like I expected it to at all. It's got a lot of spice to it. It's got like a little smoky flavor to it, which is kind of unexpected. Kind of reminds me of like jambalaya almost. Man, so many flavors going on there. Chili beans really add a lot. I like that I added the chili beans. That was the only type of mixed beans I could find. And other than buying multiple cans of beans and just putting little bits of each can, I just went ahead with the chili beans. I figured with the chorizo that would be a good mix. And it's a good mix for sure. Those potatoes cooked down to be real soft, which I like. And the chorizo kind of cooked down to be real fine. So there's like not big chunks of it. It's just kind of broken down in there. What do you say about it?
I think I might have to go back to seconds.
Oh, she's calling for seconds. So I really enjoy this PFM40, modeled after the Swedish M40 cook set. It just does such a great job, and I liked it as stainless steel. So like today, I drizzled some stuff down the side there, and it burned on. And I'll have no problem. Just take some steel wool. I can scrape that stuff off, have it looking like new in no time. So I really enjoy that set. It does a great job, and it's easy to carry in that Molly bag that I showed earlier. And I'm a big fan of this set. So this is definitely a really good recipe. I'm definitely a fan of this. I think that it's a recipe that you could add other things or take away certain things, and still, you know, if you didn't like celery or you didn't like onion, you could take those ingredients out and I think it would still turn out well, maybe to your tastes. But for me, I like it just like it is. I'm almost forgetting to give you guys a little taste yourself. Let me see if I can get a good bite on the spoon for you. Look at that. Got those beans in there. That orzo's cooked perfect. It's kind of like thick rice, I guess I would say. And the chorizo, it just kind of cooked down. It's just in there. It didn't really stay together as chunks. You can see little bits of it, almost like a hamburger, but it cooked even finer than that down in there. But man, that celery, I ate most of that. Little piece of celery there. Alright, so we're getting to that point in the show where I start feeling guilty for eating this delicious food in front of you guys when I can't share. But what I can do is recommend to you to give this recipe a try. It's definitely a good one. And also don't forget that if you have a good recipe that you like to cook when you're in the great outdoors, make sure to submit that to that email address down below. And that way you can do like Daniel and win a free care package coming to you from Self-Reliance Outfitters with all the Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear that I use to prepare your recipe. This one's definitely a good one, and it's been a good time being out here today using this PFM40. I always enjoy cooking with that set. And most importantly, I've enjoyed being out here with my daughter yet once again before she goes back to school. All I can do is recommend to you guys that if you get a chance to get out and do some cooking in the woods with your kids, definitely make time to do it. It doesn't matter whether the food's good or not, you'll have a good time, and I know your kids will enjoy it and definitely make some precious memories. So I want to thank you guys for your time, interest, and support, for all your kind comments. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Is this a recipe that appeals to you? Would you give this one a try? And if not, just let me know your thoughts, because anytime you leave a comment on our video, it definitely helps to boost us up and helps our channel to grow so we can keep doing this and extending this out with more recipes and more free gear going to you guys, which I always enjoy seeing. So don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, leave us a comment, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you on the next episode again very soon, and I look forward to it. Until then, you guys take care and be safe. See you soon.
Alright, time for a refill.
No problem, ma'am.